Hey guys, welcome back to Critical Flick. Today I'm going to be talking about a new movie from my favorite studio, A24, The Killing of a Sacred Deer. So as you may have heard about this movie, it is really weird. You can see the trailer, it's really weird and ominous and it's a typical A24 movie. It's a little offbeat, pretty original. So basically what happens in this movie, you have Colin Ferrell, who is a successful heart surgeon, and he's befriended with this young man named Martin, who's played by Barry Keoghan. And things start to get a little strange. You start to learn a little more about his backstory and the young boy's backstory and how they're connected. And then suddenly his family is befallen with this crazy illness where they lose the use of their limbs and they're slowly dying. And you slowly learn why this is happening. Now I have to say, as much as I love A24 and I love their originality, I did think this movie was a touch boring. It's not an incredibly long movie. It is almost 2 hours though. And it has a slow burn. It has a really slow burn, and things are very slowly unraveled. And I didn't feel like it had the most amazing payoff, and it didn't even really have the most amazing explanation of why these things were happening. Now, don't get me wrong, I like ambiguity in movies. I do really love movies like It Comes at Night and a ghost story where you don't entirely know what's going on. You're really not spoon-fed at all what's going on, but you do get more of a meta feel. You get the metaphor for what the movie is trying to tell you. And I felt like this one it never really got there. It wasn't weird enough or meta enough to be like, okay, I can take a lot away from this movie. I can really understand what the themes are. There are a few underlying themes that I can understand, but at the end of the day, it was kind of just weird and ambiguous for being weird and ambiguous' sake, and I didn't entirely love that. And also another thing that made the movie kind of drab and slow is the fact that it was shot in a way that's kind of similar to shots you saw that It Comes at Night, where it's a still framed shot and it's zooming in and out like that. And while that is really cool, it does make for some long shots. And the acting in the movie, while it is pretty good at times, especially as the movie progresses, in the beginning, the dialogue is written in a very poignant way, and the characters seem more like it's just a back and forth conversation. It doesn't feel like a lot of emotion, a lot of depth of what they're saying, and I can tell that was done intentionally, but it did have a better payoff towards the end of the movie when you see the characters breaking down and kind of freaking out, getting super angry and super emotional, and it was seeing that juxtaposition between their characters in the beginning of the movie when they're kind of happy and content to when their world's falling apart. As for the performances themselves, I thought Colin Ferrell did a solid job. Nicole Kidman also did a solid job. But Barry Keoghan really stole the movie for me. I remember seeing him in Dunkirk, and I was like, oh, that's the kid from Dunkirk when I saw the trailer for this movie. And he really does this as a creepy job of playing this, off-putting character. It almost reminded me of the character in The Gift, where you're kind of just Joel Edgerton's you don't know what's going on with him. He's just a little off. There's something weird about him. And this is that to the 10th degree. Overall, I thought the cinematography was really interesting. I do like the way that it was shot. I liked the colors of it. It was very gray, white, I don't know, almost I don't know how to explain it. It felt like the movie you're watching a funeral half the time. And I did like that it had that very macabre feel to it without being super duper dark. I didn't particularly care for the ending. I thought the ending was okay. It was one of those ones where it's just well, that's the end of the movie. And I could tell a lot of people in the theater were kind of disappointed that you didn't get a lot of explanation for what happens in the movie. And to kind of elaborate on the movie being weird, there are some really weird things that are said in the movie, especially Colin Farrell kind of explains something that happened to him in his childhood, something he did in his childhood, and that was a really weird thing that they decided to add in the movie. I didn't think it was that terribly off-putting. I mean, it was just kind of strange, but it was the times in the movie where they did things that were just being strange for strange's sake. And overall, I don't know, I just didn't think it worked as well as some of the other installments I've seen out of A24, like It Comes at Night, A Ghost Story, even Under the Skin, which in my opinion is one of the weirdest movies I've ever seen. So overall, if I were to rate this movie, when I first came out of it, I was a little more disappointed than I am now. I can think about it a little bit more, and I really kind of picked it apart a little more, and that's common with these movies from A24, but I think I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10. I think when I first left the theater, I was leaning more towards a 6, a 6.5, and the more I thought about it, and I really dwelled on it and really thought about it, I bumped it up just a little bit, because it is very original, very creative, and it does kind of pull an emotional response from you, which is something I really like from movies. As for where it ranks with me in A24, it's top half. I mean, I've seen a lot of their movies, and some of them actually aren't super fantastic. I like this about the same as I liked Good Time, which I honestly, even though people really love that movie, and it was a really good movie, it didn't it didn't knock my socks off. Like this is a good movie. It's worth seeing if you're a big fan of like weird artsy movies and you're a fan of A24. But yeah, overall I thought it was pretty decent, but it just wasn't, it didn't just like set me out there like some of those other movies from them. Alright guys, thanks for watching. Remember to like and subscribe, and what is your favorite A24 movie? Put down in the comments below. There are some really incredible ones. Some of them are just some of my favorite movies. So yeah, see you guys next time. Bye.